In this video I will be demonstrating a surprisingly simple wire wrapping design for crystal points and other long thin stones. This piece looks more complicated than it actually is and uses basic weaving techniques. I will be using this Angel Aura quartz crystal point, but this design is suitable for any long thin stone. This crystal is 1.5 inches long or 38mm. For the base wires I am using 6 10-inch lengths of 0.8mm or 20 gauge copper wire. I am weaving the wires together with 0.4 or 26 gauge copper wire. This piece is 60 inches long. Find the middle of the weaving wire. Start weaving from the centre of the base wires. Take the first 2 wires and wrap twice around both wires. Place the next wire above the first 2 and wrap twice around the 2 top wires. Place the 4th wire above the others and wrap twice around the 2 top wires. Place the next wire above the others and wrap twice around the 2 top wires. Place the last wire above the others and wrap twice around the 2 top wires. This completes the zig part of the zigzag pattern. To create the zag part, we just mirror the same pattern working downwards. Rotate the wires and mirror the pattern from the other end using the other half of the weaving wire. I will now add another set of zigs, or half of the weaving pattern, to both ends. I am checking that the weave is centralized on the wires. You can adjust the position of the weave by gently pulling the wires to centralize the weave. I am checking to see how wide the stone is to see where I need to bend the wires. Bend the wires straight up, leaving space for the stone to sit between. Continue the weaving pattern up the sides to match the height of the stone. I have woven both sides to the height of the stone. I am now just adding another zig to each side. Above the woven area, I am bending the wires outwards. At the level of the top of the stone, bend the wires inwards. Adjust the bends so the unwoven wires come together. Check the fit of the stone. Separate the two middle wires on both sides. Use one of the weaving wires to wrap a few times around these 4 wires. Thread the end of the weaving wire through a gap in the base wires to the inside of the frame. Trim off the excess weaving wire. The other weaving wire is at the edge of the weave, so I thread it up through the base wires and then back down between the wires to the inside of the frame before removing the excess. Place the stone in position. Maneuver the front 4 wires so that they line up next to each other. For weaving I am using 0.2mm or 30 gauge, but feel free to use a thicker weaving wire if you wish. This wire is 60 inches long. Wrap the weaving wire twice around the 2 middle wires. The weaving pattern is a 4-wire zigzag pattern very similar to the previous pattern. The pattern is twice around the 2 top wires, twice around the 2 middle wires, twice around the 2 bottom wires, twice around the 2 middle wires, and repeat. Weave for approximately 1 inch. Remove the wire tail. Gently bend the woven wires to the right and down over the front of the stone. Continue weaving up to the side of the frame. When reaching the frame wires, thread the weaving wire between the first two base wires to connect the new weave to the frame. Repeat for a secure connection. Continue the weaving pattern. Turn over the pendant and repeat the process on the other side. I am just loosely coiling one weaving wire around the base wires, just to try and keep it out of the way while I work on the other side. Continue weaving. Bend the wires downwards and towards the other side of the pendant. Where the woven area meets the other side of the frame, use the weaving wire to securely connect the new woven area to the frame. Repeat the process with the other wires. Bend the unwoven wires over the front and towards the bottom of the stone. Continue weaving a little further. Trim the lowest wire short and use round nose pliers to bend the end into a small loop. Continue weaving the remaining wires. Trim the next lowest wire and make a loop in the cut end. To weave the remaining wires together, wrap twice around one wire, then twice around both wires and repeat. Separate the two wires, bending them away from each other. Trim the top wire shorter and start bending it. Wrap the weaving wire around just this wire up to the point where it touches the frame. Use the weaving wire to securely attach the wire to the frame. Form the wire end into a small loop, trimming it a little shorter if the loop is too big. Continue wrapping the remaining wire. Where the wire meets the frame, securely attach it. Wrap a few more times around the single wire and then trim off the excess. Cut the wire shorter and make a loop. Repeat the process with the other wires. Separate the two front wires from the two back wires. I will once again be using 30 gauge. Use a thicker wire if you prefer. I cut way too much wire for this bit. I ended up needing 30 inches. Start with the weaving wire between the two wires and wrap it around one of the wires to anchor it. The weaving pattern is wrapped 5 times around one wire, twice around both wires, and repeat. Bend the wire slightly to the left before gently bending towards the right, following the other wires. The start of the woven area at the top of the pendant should sit slightly to the left of the unwoven wires behind it. Continue weaving the wires up to the point where they meet the frame's wire. Where the wires meet, thread the weaving wire between the frame wires a couple of times to connect the sets of wires. Continue weaving. Before reaching the other side, cut short the lower wire and make a loop with the cut end. Continue wrapping around the remaining wire until it meets the frame. Where the wire meets the frame, attach it to the frame. Wrap a few more times around the single wire and cut off the excess. Trim the wire shorter and loop the end. I have started the process on the other side. Bend the woven wires the same way as the front, and this should leave a small space where the wires overlap at the top of the pendant. I am using one of the wire cut-offs to make a jump ring. When forming the ring, leave quite a big overlap. Hold the flush cutters with the flat side facing the ring to remove the excess where the wires overlap. Turn the ring around to remove the excess on the other side, keeping the flat side of the cutters towards the ring. This will make a jump ring with a nice flat end that will close together perfectly. Thread the jump ring through the gap at the top of the pendant for a chain or cord. Thank you for watching. Please join me for my next video.